is because they fear criticism. They care too much about what others will say. Before starting a new business, they think, what if people laugh at them? Before speaking their idea in a meeting, they wonder, what if they sound stupid? Before taking a bold step, their mind is occupied with what if they fail and everyone talks about it. This fear keeps them trapped in an invisible prison. They live their entire lives trying to fit in, trying not to offend anyone, trying to avoid judgment. But the truth is, no matter what you do, people will always talk. If you do nothing, they will say you're useless. If you try something new, they will say you're crazy. If you succeed, they will say you're arrogant. You can never please everyone. People forget that criticism is a natural part of growth. When you are doing what everyone else is doing, no one notices you. But the moment you do something different, you will attract attention, both good and bad. The problem is, most people only want praise. They want everyone to clap for them, support them, and admire their decisions. But life doesn't work like that. The same people who clap for you today can criticize you tomorrow. If you depend on their approval, you will never find your own strength. Great achievers are not people who never face criticism. They are people who stopped caring about it. They listen, they learn, but they don't let it define them. They understand that criticism is often a reflection of other people's fears and insecurities. When someone says you can't do this, it usually means they can't do it, so they don't believe you can. If you keep living to avoid criticism, you will never live your true life. You will live a life designed by others' opinions. You will stay stuck in the same place, doing the same things just to keep everyone happy. But in the end, the same people whose opinions you fear will not be there to face your regrets. So if you want to succeed, you must become strong enough to handle criticism. Accept that people will talk, let them talk. Your job is not to silence them. Your job is to prove yourself so powerfully through your actions that their words no longer matter. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they do not take action. They spend their lives thinking, planning, analyzing, and dreaming, but they never move beyond that first step. They read books about success. They watch videos about success. They attend seminars and take notes with excitement. But when it is time to act, they hesitate. They tell themselves they are not ready yet. They need to learn more. They need to wait for the right time. They need a better plan. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. And one day they look back and realize that life has passed them by while they were waiting for the perfect moment that never came. People forget that knowledge means nothing without action. A person who knows very little but takes action will always be ahead of a person who knows everything but does nothing. Action creates momentum. Even if you make mistakes, you will learn faster by doing than by endlessly thinking. Many people fear taking action because they want guarantees. They want to know if they do something, will it definitely work? But life never gives you guarantees. You create certainty through your actions. You take the first step. You learn, you adapt, and you keep moving forward until you create the results you want. Some people think too much before doing anything. They want to see the whole staircase before climbing the first step. But success doesn't work like that. You take the first step, and only then does the next step become clear. If you keep waiting to see the full picture, you will remain stuck at the starting point forever. Others wait for motivation to act. They think they will start when they feel ready and motivated. But motivation comes after action, not before it. When you start doing something, when you start seeing progress, that itself gives you motivation to keep going. If you want to succeed in life, you must become a person of action. Start before you are ready. Do what you can with what you have. You will never feel fully prepared. You will never have perfect conditions. But if you act despite these imperfections, you will be miles ahead of those still sitting and thinking about what to do. Remember, the world does not reward your intentions. It rewards your actions. Ideas are worthless without execution. Dreams are meaningless if you do not wake up and make them real. So stop waiting. Take action today, no matter how small, and keep taking action every day. Because in the end, it is not what you know or what you plan that changes your life. It is what you actually do. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they lack discipline. They know what they need to do, but they don't do it consistently. They wake up in the morning and choose comfort over commitment. They say they want success, but their daily actions prove otherwise. Discipline is doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like doing it. But most people live their lives controlled by their feelings. If they feel tired, they skip their goals for the day. If they feel bored, they stop learning. If they feel uncomfortable, they walk away from challenges. They allow their emotions to dictate their actions, forgetting that true growth lies beyond comfort. They want to achieve big things, but they still spend hours scrolling on their phones. They want to become financially free, but they spend more than they earn. They want a fit and strong body, but they eat junk food daily and avoid exercise. They want great relationships, but they don't invest time and effort to nurture them. This is the reality of people who lack discipline. They keep wanting without doing. Success is built on discipline. It is not about one big decision, but thousands of small decisions you make every single day. It is about waking up early when your mind tells you to sleep more. It is about choosing to work on your goals when everyone else is relaxing. It is about saying no to temporary pleasures to achieve permanent fulfillment. People think motivation will help them succeed, but motivation comes and goes, discipline stays. Motivation is about feelings, discipline is about commitment. You may not feel motivated every morning, but if you are disciplined, you will still do what is necessary. The truth is, discipline is not a punishment. It is the greatest form of self-respect. When you are disciplined, you are telling yourself that your dreams are important, your goals are serious, and your future matters more than your momentary comfort. Those who lack discipline will always live in regret. They will look at others achieving what they wanted and say they were lucky or they had opportunities they didn't. But deep inside they know that they failed because they didn't do what they were supposed to do when it mattered most. If you want to succeed, build discipline like a muscle. Start small. Wake up when you say you will. Keep your promises to yourself. Do what you plan even when you feel tired, because if you cannot control your own mind and actions, the world will control them for you. And in that state, success will always remain a distant dream. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they have no patience. They want everything quickly. They want instant success, instant money, instant recognition. If it doesn't come fast, they lose interest. But success doesn't work like that. It requires time, effort, and consistency. People today plant a seed and expect fruits the next morning. When it doesn't happen, they become frustrated and think maybe this is not working and move on to another dream, another goal, another plan. They keep changing directions because they don't see quick results. But what they don't realize is that every time they start over, they return to zero. Success is like growing a tree. First you plant the seed, then you water it daily. For weeks you see nothing. For months there is only a small sprout. But underneath the ground, roots are growing strong and deep to support the tree when it finally rises. If you become impatient and dig it up to see whether it is growing, you kill its potential before it even starts. Most people lack this understanding. They give up too soon because they confuse slow progress with no progress. They want to master a skill in days. They want to build a business in weeks. They want to become confident and powerful overnight. And when that doesn't happen, they lose faith in themselves and in their dreams. But the truth is, anything valuable takes time. Anything strong takes time to build. Anything meaningful requires patience. The greatest mistake impatient people make is that they chase shortcuts. They look for quick ways to get rich, quick ways to get fit, quick ways to become successful, and in the process they waste years going in circles instead of patiently building the real path to success. People forget that impatience is a form of disrespect to your dreams. When you are impatient, you are telling yourself that your dreams are not worth the time it takes to achieve them. You are telling life to give it to you now, or you don't want it. But life doesn't work under your timelines. It rewards those who keep working with faith, even when nothing seems to be happening. If you want to succeed, develop patience as your strength. Understand that the time it takes is the price you pay for something great. Stay focused on your efforts, not on how long it takes. Because when you finally achieve what you worked for with patience, the value, the pride, and the fulfillment you feel will be far greater than any shortcut could ever give you. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they do not learn from failure. They see failure as the end instead of a lesson. The moment they fail, they feel ashamed, embarrassed, and defeated. They think, maybe I'm not good enough, and they stop trying. But the truth is, failure is never the end. It is simply feedback. It is life's way of showing you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. Most people are so afraid of failing that they avoid taking risks altogether. And even when they do fail, they waste their time blaming circumstances, blaming other people, or blaming luck. They keep asking, why did this happen to me? Instead of asking, what can I learn from this? If you look at the most successful people in the world, you will see that their success was built on layers of failure. Every failure taught them something valuable. Every rejection built their strength. Every mistake showed them a new way to improve. They didn't treat failure like an enemy. They treated it like a teacher. But most people don't have this mindset. They let failure break their confidence instead of building their wisdom. They keep replaying their failures in their minds, feeling regret, shame, and anger, but they never sit down and analyze what went wrong. What could I have done differently? What lesson is hidden here for me to grow stronger and smarter? The truth is, you will never succeed without failing many times. Failure is the price you pay to achieve something meaningful. It is like falling while learning to ride a bicycle. If you never fall, you will never learn to balance. If you avoid failure, you avoid growth. People who do not learn from failure end up repeating the same mistakes. They keep starting new businesses, new jobs, or new relationships, but they face the same problems because they never learned from their previous experiences. They think life is unfair to them, but in reality, they are just refusing to learn what life is trying to teach them. If you want to succeed, you must change the way you look at failure. Embrace it, study it, respect it. Ask yourself after every failure, what did I learn? How can I use this to become better next time? When you start doing this, you will realize that failure is not your enemy, ignorance is. Failure, when used wisely, turns ignorance into knowledge and weakness into power. Remember, the only real failure is refusing to learn. As long as you are learning, you are moving forward. And one day, all those lessons will come together to build the success you have been dreaming of. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they have no clear vision. They wake up every day without knowing where they are going. They live on autopilot, doing what others do, following what society tells them, but deep inside they have no idea what they truly want. When you ask them, what is your goal in life? They give vague answers like, I just want to be happy, or I want to be successful. But what does happiness mean for them? What does success look like for them? They have no clarity, and without clarity, you can never achieve anything meaningful. Imagine a ship sailing without a destination. It will keep floating in the ocean, going wherever the waves push it, but it will never reach a port. That is how most people live. Because they have no clear vision, they keep changing directions. One day they want to start a business. Next week they want a job. One day they want to study abroad. Next month they think of quitting studies altogether. Their life is full of random decisions because they have no final destination guiding them. When you have no vision, you become part of someone else's vision. You end up working for other people's dreams, building other people's goals, and following other people's paths. And at the end of life, you wonder why you never felt fulfilled or proud. It is because you never lived a life designed by your own vision. People think having a vision is a luxury. They think, let me just survive first, then I will think about my dreams. But the truth is, without a vision, you are only surviving, never living. Your vision is what gives meaning to your hard work, sacrifices, and struggles. It is what gives you the courage to wake up early, work late nights, and keep going when everything feels difficult. Most people are busy being busy. They work hard, but their hard work has no direction. They climb ladders quickly, only to realize at the top that the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. They achieve things that don't matter to them. They chase goals that society gave them, but feel empty after achieving them. If you want to succeed, the first thing you must do is build a clear vision for your life. Ask yourself, what do I really want? Who do I want to become? What impact do I want to leave behind? Write it down. Visualize it every single day. Let your vision become so strong that it pulls you out of your excuses and pushes you into action. Because when your vision is clear, decisions become easy, obstacles become temporary, distractions become meaningless, and your life gains a power and purpose that most people never experience. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they surround themselves with negative people. They spend their time with those who constantly complain, doubt, criticize, and gossip. They don't realize that the people they spend time with shape their mindset, their confidence, and their entire outlook on life. If you are surrounded by people who always talk about problems, you will start seeing problems everywhere. If you are surrounded by people who blame others for everything, you will start blaming instead of taking responsibility. If your friends laugh at your dreams and tell you to be realistic, soon you will start doubting your own dreams. Most people don't choose their environment consciously. They stay with the same friends they grew up with, even if those friends have no goals or positivity. They remain in toxic family circles without setting boundaries. They listen to negative relatives, colleagues, and neighbors every day, absorbing their fears and limitations. They think it doesn't affect me, but it does. Slowly, their mindset becomes like the people around them. Their confidence is destroyed by constant criticism. Their dreams are killed by constant doubts. Their goals are delayed because they spend their time in meaningless conversations instead of growth. If you put a fresh apple among rotten apples, it will soon rot as well. In the same way, your environment affects you more than you realize. If you spend time with people who are driven, hardworking, and positive, you will feel inspired to push yourself. But if you spend time with people who are lazy, negative, and careless, you will slowly become like them, even if you start out strong. Many people fail not because they lack potential, but because they keep the wrong people close to them. They keep friends who laugh when they share their big goals. They keep relatives who discourage them every step of the way. They keep colleagues who secretly want them to fail. And in the process, they lose their courage, clarity, and hunger for growth. If you want to succeed, you must become ruthless about your environment. It doesn't mean you disrespect people. It means you respect your dreams enough to protect them. Choose to spend your time with people who lift you higher, people who speak about possibilities, people who are not afraid of hard work, and people who believe in your vision even when you doubt yourself. Because your environment is stronger than your willpower. You may have the greatest goals in the world, but if you surround yourself with negative people, their energy will pull you down. On the other hand, even if your goals are small, being with positive, driven people will inspire you to dream bigger and achieve more. Choose your circle wisely, because in the end, you become like the people you spend the most time with. Make sure they are taking you towards your dreams, not away from them. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they lack consistency. They start something with great excitement, full of energy and motivation, but after a few days or weeks, that excitement fades. They stop putting in the effort, they become distracted by other things, and slowly their goals are left behind. They go to the gym for 2 weeks and expect to see major results. When they don't, they quit. They start a new business and work hard for 1 month, but when customers don't come immediately, they give up. They decide to wake up early to study or build their skills, but after a few days of discipline, they go back to their old habits. People fail because they think success is about doing something once in a while with high intensity. But true success is about small actions repeated every single day without fail. It is about showing up even when you don't feel like it, working when no one is watching, and staying committed even when there are no immediate results. Most people are consistent only with their excuses. They say, I will start tomorrow, and they say it every day. They say, I am too tired today, and they say it every day. But they are not consistent with their efforts, their discipline, or their growth. They don't realize that consistency is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. You don't become strong by going to the gym once for 5 hours. You become strong by going every day for 30 minutes. You don't become wise by reading a book once in a while. You become wise by reading every day, even if it is just a few pages. You don't build a great business by working hard for 1 month and disappearing for 3. You build it by showing up every single day, solving problems, learning and growing without breaks. The problem with people who lack consistency is that they keep starting over. Every time they quit and come back, they start from zero again. Imagine trying to boil water but switching off the stove every minute. It will never boil. That is how most people live their lives, starting and stopping, never staying long enough to see results. If you want to succeed, consistency is your greatest weapon. Even if you work at a slow pace, if you are consistent, you will achieve far more than someone who works intensely but only once in a while. Success is not about how fast you go. It is about how long you can keep going without giving up. Train yourself to stay committed to your routines, your goals, and your vision, no matter how you feel. Because feelings change, but discipline remains. And in the end, the world doesn't remember people who started with excitement. It remembers those who stayed consistent until they finished what they started. Another reason why most people never succeed is because they don't believe in themselves. Deep down, they think they are not good enough, smart enough, talented enough, or worthy enough to achieve something great. They might smile and pretend to be confident in front of others, but when they are alone, their mind is filled with doubt and fear. They see other people succeeding and think, they can do it, but I can't. They hear stories of great achievements and immediately think, I don't have those qualities. This lack of self-belief stops them before they even start. They don't apply for that opportunity because they assume they will fail. They don't share their ideas because they think no one will listen. They don't take risks because they think they are not capable of handling failure. Most people spend their lives waiting for someone else to believe in them. Their parents, their friends, their boss, or society, they think, if others support me, then I will feel confident. But the truth is, no one can believe in you enough to replace the belief you need to have in yourself. Even if the whole world claps for you, it means nothing if you don't feel worthy of that applause. People don't realize that self-belief is not about arrogance or thinking you are better than everyone else. It is about understanding that you are capable of learning, growing, and achieving anything you decide to commit yourself to. It is about knowing that you don't need to be perfect to start,